Okay, I know most of you are probably not going to believe this, but I genuinely had a vision the other day, and I didn't tell anyone, which was stupid really, because then I would have at least had some proof. But I had a vision that they, instead of bringing back just one queen, they would bring back all of them, and then the queens would have to make up the other queen, and then whoever won got to stay. I legit had this vision, and I was like, that would totally work. But none of you believe me now, and I have no evidence and no proof, so you're just gonna think I'm some mystical fraud. Cheers, bitches. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Kiki. I am Chris. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. If you are new, girl, where you been at? This is where we get together and Kiki and chat and gossip about RuPaul's Drag Race Season 7. Work, bitch. So Max has just left the building. I know, can you believe it? I'm still not quite over it. And the girls have come back into the workroom and they're all chatting and kikiing about the queen that's going to come back, because obviously Ru has just dropped the bombshell, OMG, that someone is going to make a return to the competition. And the mood is pretty much mutual. None of these hoes want any of those hoes back in this competition up in here, okay? So when the next day comes along, Ginger is sat there with the rest of them at the table and she's like, we need to rally the troops, we need to go on strike, if they're trying to bring back someone, we're all gonna go on strike. We shall not do drag. I'm not being funny, no tea, no shade, but when she did that, am I the only one that was thinking Lollipop Guild, you know, from The Wizard of Oz? Is that too shady? I don't know, maybe. All she needed was a big old lollipop. So then RuPaul appears from behind his little doorway, and instead of coming down, he announces that we do have a queen coming back to the competition, in fact. And as the queens are waiting and they're bracing themselves and we're all at home gripping onto our seats and worrying who it's going to be, whether they're going to bring back some diva bitch that we don't want to see, insert your most hated queen name here. And she reveals that it is in fact Latrice Royale. Yes, bitch. Latrice Royale's back. And she's all dressed up like she was back in that Tucker prison for ladies as the warden. Get those nuts away from my face. And the reason that she's there is to help Ru with today's mini challenge, where the queens are given prison uniforms and they have to drag them out. You know what they say, orange really is the new drag. So after 20 minutes and the queen's best effort to throw anything together, they have to go into the Tuckahoe prison fashion show, girl. And it's all very cell block tango from Chicago, if you know what I'm saying. And you know, they're all trying to butch it up and that kind of thing. And they're serving. Even Adore Delano would be proud of this Azusa realness. Do you know what I'm saying? And as they're walking, Ru is giving them their aliases and how long they're in prison for and, you know, what they did and all that kind of crap. And I thought, I wonder if I were in that situation, what would my alias, my AKA be? So I had a thought and I think I've come up with it. So my backstory, obviously, Chris says it. My AKA will be Big C, because, you know, obviously, I'm quite tall. The reason that I'd be in prison is for selling black market makeup on the streets, obviously. Why gotta be black? And my job in prison would naturally be prison librarian, because I will read a bitch for filth. So with that being said, I would like to know what your AKA names would be in prison, why you have gone to prison, and what your job in prison would be. Just like I've proffered you here, just like they did on Drag Race. So drop me a comment below, because I would love to see what you guys come up with, because you are a very imaginative lot, so bring it on, girl, bring it on. Also, a quick shout out to that little Cartier leopard print Hannibal Lecter mask realness thing. I don't know what she was going for. I'm sure there's some sort of reference that I'm not getting. But either way, I was like, this bitch is kooky as hell. And by the way, her commentary is still everything in this show. But yeah, all the looks look pretty decent actually, especially since they only had 20 minutes to do it. So I was quite impressed. You could almost say their looks were almost arresting. Thank you, I'm here all week. Yes, I really am that funny. And Rue announces that Kennedy has won the mini challenge. And I'm sat there like, okay, didn't think it was all that. I mean, it was ghetto, fabulous, but I don't know. I was a bit like, And so the time has come. Rue announces that a queen is about to return to the competition. And they're all waiting. Once again, we're on the edge of our seats and the tension is building and it's all increasing and the doors fling open. And in walks Trixie Mattel. That's right, everybody. Trixie Mattel is back. But wait, what? So is Tempest du Jour. And Candy Ho. And Sasha Bell. And Jasmine Masters? And what's that? Mrs. Kasha Davis? And oh my god, Max is back as well. What is this? What is going on? All the queens are back in their room. Like, they all got word that shit was going down. They've all tagged on. Like, they all hid in Trixie's luggage or something. They caught that flight over. They're like, hey, like, we're gay crashing this party, bitch. I mean, obviously what's happened is that the producers have decided to start from scratch and begin the whole process again because, you know, YOLO. So while we are all sat there looking and watching going, what's going to happen? I'm sat there going, well, I've already foreseen this because I had like one of those Raven-Symoné visions, like, I know what's going to happen. But Rue announces that the twist this year is that the queens will decide pretty much between themselves who is going to return to the competition through the Maxi Challenge. And for me, I think this is a really great twist because in the past, obviously the producers or the judges or whatever have picked one queen to just return to the competition and carry on as normal. And every time that happened, that queen went home that same day. But what this means is that one queen will be returning through today's challenge rather than just being brought back. So it means that they'll be brought back through the challenge. Therefore, whoever wins is definitely going to stay until the next episode, and whoever loses will be eliminated in that place of an eliminated queen already. So it all depends much more on talent and what the eliminated queens can bring. It also is going to be much shadier because obviously whoever goes home will have gone home because of their own failure and the failure of the eliminated queen. And it also guarantees that whoever stays for at least one episode. Do you know what I mean? So for me, this works so much better than previous seasons. I think it's a lot fairer. It's a lot more drama-filled, a lot shadier, all that kind of stuff. So I think this is a really great decision to bring back this sort of old idea, but do it in a way that is a little bit fairer, and the onus is much more on the queens. So it's all like, oh my god, all up in here. The house down. And can we just have a moment? All 14 queens were back in the room. I was getting deja vu. I know, I'm a wit. So the main challenge is that the queens will be paired off, one eliminated queen and one current queen, and they have to create a look of conjoined twins. Do you like this diagram? Is this explaining it to you well? I hope so. And since Kennedy was the winner of the mini challenge, she gets to pick her own twin, as it were, so she chooses Jasmine Masters. And as a bonus, she gets to pick all the other queens' twins. And you're like, oh bitch, shit is about to go down. So Kennedy goes with Jasmine, she then picks Sasha for Ginger, she picks Trixie for Pearl, Candy with Miss Fame, Kasha with Katya, Max with Violet, and that leaves Tempest du Jour and Jaden Dior Fierce. No, really. Those, she paired them up. To be fair, I think Kennedy was somewhat fair, to say the word twice. I don't like doing that in the same sentence. But Kennedy was quite fair, I think, in choosing who she paired everyone off with. You know, like Sasha and Ginger do kind of look alike. And she was explaining all this in Untucked, but, you know, they look alike, and then, like, you know, she can paint Jasmine to look like herself. Like Fame and Candy, all that kind of stuff. They all, like, she picked them, and the only ones that were left were Jaden and Tempest. And you're like, well, yeah, to be fair. And, you know, in the past, we have seen people throw some serious shade with this challenge. I think it was like Tatiana when they made up their older guys to be their mothers, and she sort of threw some real shade around with the choices. I don't think Kennedy really did it, like, as much. You could say that she threw Jaden under the bus with Tempest, but like only because they don't look the same. But I think for the most part, I think she was quite generous with her decision making. So then we finally, because I know I've bitched about it enough, we have finally getting some workroom action now. So we now have a big old segment where we actually get to see the queens make something. We get to see them having a chat and a Kiki, and we really get the sense of the workroom working for once, because we haven't seen it. It's always been like not about that and more about the challenge and the runway, and I'm like, finally, good stuff, let's keep it up. Ginger and Sasha are struggling, especially Ginger. You can see that she's starting to crumble a little bit. She has been very rattled that someone has come back into the competition, that they're going to get given a free pass effectively, whoever wins, and that whoever goes home will go home not necessarily because of their own actions, which is really messing with her mind. And there's always one queen that it messes with the mind of. But this one, it was Ginger. And yeah, she was struggling, especially because Sasha kept walking around and like having a chat with everyone and not actually helping. Oh my God, right. Can we have a minute? Can we have a minute for Fame and Candy? When Ru came over and Fame was talking, like, okay, let me level. I like to talk, right? I'm a bitch that loves to talk. Like, my friends often have to tell me to shut up. Like, in fact, I openly tell my friends to tell me to shut up because I know that I ramble, like, all the time. Like, bitch loves to talk, okay? Like, you probably noticed that these videos have gotten, like, longer and longer. I mean, honey, you should see what I edit out of these videos. Like, easily double the length of the video is easily my raw footage. Like, I talk way too much. But holy hell, Miss Fame, Jesus Christ, you like to talk, and that's coming from me. It's insane. I get it, you're in your head. Oh my God though, oh my God, like poor Candy Ho, like her ear must be like falling off. But I think though, because of that, me and Miss Fame would get on like a house on fire because we would just sit there like all day long. We would start chatting at like 10 o'clock in the morning and we would like still be talking at midnight. I just get the feeling that we would just be like talking all the time, but we would love it. I think so. I think we need to sort this out, Miss Fame. I think we need to have a chat, like an all day long thing. High five, girl, high five. And oh my God, Miss Fame misses the joke again about how's your head? How can someone miss that joke so many times? Like that was like, what, the third time? And then Ru calls her out on it and she's like, bitch, you're not listening. How is your head? Fine. Oh my God. Ugh. 4 times she's missed that joke. And you're just like, honey, oh my God. But the thing is, the fact that she's missed it 4 times is probably funnier than had she just said the obvious answer in the first week. It's like she's Alyssa Edwards 2.0. I'm just living for Miss Fame right now. She's so like quirky and kooky and goofy, and she's so not what I expected her to be. And I love it. I love it so much. Violet is totally growing on me more and more now. She has really calmed down. She's got rid of that whole bitchiness. She seems really sweet. And she's like, I think, growing as a personality. It's really, really nice to see. And her smile, oh my gosh, her smile. Like, have you seen her smile? It's so cute. Like, can't even deal. And then we see Ginger hijack Katya and take her to one side. And she just reiterates how sort of frustrated and annoyed she feels. And you sort of really get this sense that she's almost given up. Like, this one challenge has completely thrown her. And she's just gone, well, whatever. That's it. I'm in the bottom 2. I'm going home. And it's not really the attitude that I expected from Ginger, so it's really rattled her. But I'm like, come on, girl, like, you know you're good, like, turn this shit out. And also, I know I've already mentioned it about how I, like how the returning queen is chosen kind of thing. But it's just lovely to see all 14 queens back and having a laugh and being together. But I also really, really like the fact that it means that we can see a little bit more of the earlier queens, because I always feel really bad for like the queen that goes home first or second, because they don't really get to like experience the show, not even necessarily about showcasing themselves, because that's, a whole other thing, and it is really nice that they can showcase more of themselves, but just from their point of view kind of thing, I think it's just very sweet that they can come back and experience the show and the magic just for a little bit longer. So for me, I'm just like, oh yeah, because like I felt really sorry for Tempest du Jour, like going home so early after trying all that time. you know, she gets on and goes home, but she's back again. So she still gets that moment. So, you know, all the queens get at least 2 weeks this season, which is really nice. So Elimination Day has arrived and the queens come back into the workroom, which looks like Hobby Lobby exploded in it. You've got bits of fabric everywhere, glitter just all over the place. It is all kinds of messy fabulous. So while the girls are all getting ready, Tempest starts discussing a bit of her backstory, and she reveals that she actually went through gay conversion, you know, gay to straight therapy to please her family and that kind of thing. And she was sort of discussing how hard it was and how damaging it was. And I think it was incredible for her to say that and talk about it. And I just thought it was very brave of her to talk about it so candidly and openly, especially to put the word out there, I suppose, to all the children and some adults as well, that, you know, all this gay conversion stuff, gay to straight, is not good. It's harmful to people. It can cause more damage than good. You know, she can sit there and say, been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. And it's just a really nice way for her to sort of say that gay is okay and that, you know, just love who you are and just find people around you that will support you, because it's okay. So for that to be on television and for her to have gone through that and be this kind of, you know, figure and to say this isn't how it's done, I thought was very nice and very sweet of her. So yes, go Tempest! Rah, rah, rah. And then off the back of that, Trixie starts talking about her stepfather and how he used to abuse her, basically. And it got so bad that when she was 15, the police had to come and take her away from her house. And you're just like, oh my gosh, like what? And she revealed that whenever she was sort of acting a bit feminine or a little bit gay, her stepfather would call her Trixie. Look, now I'm just guessing that from that, her stepfather was Gollum from The Lord of the Rings. Nasty Trixie Hobbitses! But then how she turned this name that had so many horrible connotations into her own drag name, the fact that she's reclaimed it, is firstly massively flipping the bird to her stepfather. And secondly, it's very brave and inspiring, I think. It makes me feel really proud for her, because it's not an easy thing to get over something like that, and especially then to take it to the next level where she's gotten over it and then used that, reclaimed it effectively, and used it as her own drag name to then create this persona of who she is and what she's all about, and how she has truly conquered her demons. You just think that's just amazing. That's incredible. So props to you, Trixie. You've just I loved you anyway, but you've just gone way up there for me now. Amazing personality and attitude. Amazing. So then we get to the runway, and the judges this week are Nelson Ellis from, I think, True Blood, and Leanne Rimes, singer, obviously. But am I the only one thinking they're kind of random choices to have? You'd think they might have tried to get, some twins on the panel? Were Jedward busy? I don't know. So on the runway, Miss Fame and Candy are painted, identically. It's really hard to tell them apart. But their outfit was a decent idea. I'm just not overly thrilled with the execution of it. Jaden and Tempest. No, girl. No. You can kind of see what they're going for, but I just don't really think it worked well. They were trying to sort of bring their differences together, and I don't think that really worked. I think what they should have done was really highlight the differences between them and make a joke out of it. I think what I would have liked to have seen is something have them joined at the head and have Tempest walking along the runway like this. And kind of have Jaden as a little bit more of the more aggressive kind of, we're going this way, and Tempest trying to follow along behind her and all that kind of stuff, and then the squabble and the scrap between them, that kind of thing. Or maybe even have Jaden on a raised high seat or something with wheels, and then push them along, that kind of thing. Just really highlight the differences between them, because obviously they don't look anything alike. So that's probably what I would have done. Just really bring out the funny between them, but, oh well. Kennedy and Jasmine looked cute. Their presentation thing with the, whatever, that was really nice, but I think they could have taken it further, but it was a safe play. Pearl and Trixie were absolutely hilarious. It was adorable. I really, really liked it. I thought the outfit was amazing. It really looked like they were conjoined twins with that massive skirt. It was really, really cute, and Trixie was totally camping it up. I loved it. But yes, great idea, great execution. Well done to both of them. That was really, really good. Violet and Max. Okay, this genuinely took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to work out which one was which, because I couldn't tell which one was Max. It took me ages because she doesn't look anything like her. Like, Violet completely made an identical twin of her out of Max. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is genius. Like, Violet is a genius. It was a cute idea with the whole conjoined waist thing, but I don't think it overly worked that well. You can see what they're kind of going for, but I don't think it properly worked. But it was still a nice outfit. It still looked good. So yeah, it was all good. Ginger and Sasha. The idea was funny, but I really don't think the execution worked well. You know, like with that fabric and the whole cut of it, what the outfit they'd made. You know, they look like those hunched old ladies that don't wear a bra and have like strapless tops and are really overly tanned and think that going to the NASCAR is like the pinnacle of class. It was just a little bit like pedestrian, and that's really weird for me to say pedestrian despite the fact that they were joined at the boob, but it just didn't really work for me, unfortunately. And oh my God, Katya and Kasha, this was hilarious. Their backstory was absolutely fantastic. Did you clock the box of wine hanging off of Mrs. Kasha Davis's waist? Attention to detail was epic. I mean, honey, when they go to Vegas, they are the slot machine. So then it comes to judges' critiques, and finally, Miss Fame gets the "how's your head" joke. Finally, but you can totally tell that Candy was like giving her a pep talk backstage, just going like, this is what you need to say because they're going to ask you the question again. Ugh, it shouldn't take that much, honey. Good. It was noted that Trixie seemed to outshine Pearl and that Pearl needs to make sure that she's able to steal the spotlight as well, otherwise, you know, she'll get lost in the background. And oh my God, Michelle practically orgasmed over Max. Ooh, that's a bit of a odd image. But the way he was looking, because he finally didn't have like, you know, a grey wig on and he looked like, you know, very, very different. And she was like, oh my God, finally, happy days. And oh my God, right, speaking of missing the joke, Ginger Minj completely misses a joke there. Like it was laid out for her and she completely missed it. Michelle asks Ginger what that sticky white substance is on her boob. And she's just like, oh, it must be glue. I'm really sorry. Like, you know, I've hot glued this to myself. Am I the only one that sat there like, girl, that ain't glue. Like, make a joke out of it. It's a sticky white substance on your boob. No, darling, we know exactly what that was. Whatever a girl needs to do to pay the bills, honey. Okay. And also, Katya and Kasha, when they're getting their critiques, have really amped it up. It was great to see that Kasha was really, like, you know, keeping pace with Katya this time. And yeah, the banter was brilliant. Absolutely great. So Pearl and Trixie are revealed as the winners of this week's challenge, which means that Trixie Mattel is back in the race. Finally, maybe all these people will stop with the hashtag justice for Trixie and all this kind of stuff and being butthurt. Trixie is now finally back in the race, and I think deservedly so. She, I think, has a whole lot more to give, so I am actually quite thrilled that she is back in the race. So yes, well done to those guys. Welcome back into the fold, girl. Although I have to admit, at one point, I really thought it might have gone to Mrs. Kasha Davis because that performance was brilliant. Like, the look was good. They were really, really funny, and I thought, oh, it's gonna be between those two, and it was a really tight call, but yeah, I think Ru made a good call, I have to admit. I think he made the right call. It was also really sweet that the story arc has come full circle, that Pearl sent Trixie home, and then all the craziness that's come from that, and then it was actually Pearl that brought Trixie back into the competition. It's a very nice story arc. And, oh, by the way, the prize, right, the prize was amazing. Pearl, being a New York queen, wins a weekend in New York. Like, you couldn't make it up. It's so shady. Well done, Pearl, and as the winner of this week's challenge, you get to spend a weekend at home. Yay! You can practically hear Pearl thinking, God damn it, you bitch. Miss Fame escapes the bottom two. Again, I've lost count how many times she's been in, like, the bottom three. But there we go. Like, I still love her. I don't particularly want her to go home, but I'm like, bitch is lucky as hell. Like, bitch, go out and buy a lottery ticket because holy crap, girl. Holy crap. So Jaden Dior Fierce and Ginger Minge, along with Sacha Bell and Tempest du Jour, fall into the bottom 2. 4. 2. 4. 2. And this is by far one of the most hysterical lip syncs we have ever seen on the show. This is just genius. I mean, you've got 4 of them lip syncing anyway, 2 of which know they're going home because they didn't win the challenge. And then one of the other ones is going home, but at the same time, they're all still attached to each other. Like, I thought that they would at least like detach and let them do it, like, you know, Jaden versus Ginger. And they're like, no, you're doing it as a conjoined twin. Oh my God, the twist is real. And it's just hilarious. I mean, Tempest and Jaden are trying to sort of keep staying one behind each other and they're doing all this stuff, but it's just really, really difficult because like they can barely walk in the thing, let alone like dance around and do all that kind of stuff. And then Ginger and Sasha, they've like found a pair of scissors from somewhere. They start hacking at themselves to get rid of their boobs. And then like do this crazy lip sync with like half their outfit missing. It's so funny. And like Ginger becomes a hot mess, like her boobs go flying, her outfit's gone places, her wig flies off, like it's a mess. And also, can we just say this is now the 2nd time in a lip sync that Sacha Bell has lost a boob on stage? Like, did you notice the first time? Powder puff realness? Like, yeah, she likes losing boobs on stage. What is that? She needs to, like, this needs to become a thing, Sasha, I think. There's a niche for it, girl. But it was absolutely everything. It was such a car crash, like train wreck, but it just worked. It was so funny. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And so Ginger Minge wins the lip sync. She gets to stay, and unfortunately Jaden Dior Fierce has to sashay away. And she tries to sashay, but she kind of more shuffles away with Tempest du Jour still stuck to her back and shuffle, 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 all that kind of jazz. So yes, overall I thought this was a great episode. I thought it was so, so funny. The atmosphere was brilliant. Like, you could just see everyone was having a great time being back together again. And I think sort of, it felt like the same as the previous episode, like where everyone just seemed to be having a great time and having a laugh. And so I'm hoping that this is kind of now a turning point for the series, because up until now it's been a little bit mishmash. There's been something like not quite right about it. Like, we've not been able to connect with the queens much, I think because there's not much workroom action and that kind of thing. But like last episode and this episode, the atmosphere has completely changed. You know, something about the editing seems a bit different. And it just seems like everyone is having a great time. And so because of that, I thoroughly enjoyed watching the show. It was so funny, so clever, so smart. I thought the way of bringing back a queen was very fair, but also drama-filled. And it just meant that we got to see even more of the queens. And they got to have a little bit more time in the workroom and have more of the experience and that kind of thing. So overall, absolutely great episode, and I just loved it. I thought it was brilliant. So that's everything. Thank you so much for joining me again this week for the Kiki guys. I love seeing you, and thank you so much for just coming along and making it all fabulous. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to leave your little comments and stuff below and comment on each other and that kind of thing. You know, let's get the conversation started. Also, don't forget to include your prison alias and all that kind of stuff, as I said before. Chuck that down there. Drop me a thumbs up somewhere along there. And there's also a little button down there that says subscribe. If you haven't hit that button already, please hit that subscribe button for me. Come join the family. We're all friends here. But if you have hit that button already, thank you so much. Mwahs. Also, don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at ChrisSaysIt and also on Instagram at the same name. But until next time, guys, be good, be safe, keep out of trouble, and always, 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 girl, stay fierce. Take care, guys. Love you. Bye. Mwah.